This is my first attempt at using Google Primer for data in the Talk Out Loud protocol. I'm going to learn about strategy, turn information into stories with data visualization. 5 minutes, and it contains 2 activities. I'll click on my mobile, recording with A to Z, AZ recorder. So they give me an initial overview of what I'm going to learn, which is what is data visualization? Why is it important for my business? How can I use data visualization to market my business? I'm allowed to pin it if I want to if it's an important page, and I just swipe to learn the next, or go to the next learning. Gathering data is like a game of connect the dots. It involves taking small pieces of information and putting them together to create one big picture. Okay, that makes sense to me. Once you've gathered data, you can use data visualization to identify trends and communicate complex ideas more quickly. In short, it's a way of using data to tell a visual story. This makes a lot of sense to me. It's very clear, and it tells me that data being processed just as numbers isn't as telling as a visual help, a model. Next page, I've swiped again. But what happens when you need to tell a story that involves a lot of complex data? Sometimes traditional graphs and charts can be overwhelming and start looking like abstract paintings. This is where data visualization comes in. That is interesting because you can't just plot all the data. You have to consider how people are going to receive it. Next, swipe. Let's look at an example. Sophie Spooky Strolls wants to plan her new ghost spotting tour. She starts by interviewing people and recording the location and type of every ghost spotted last year. How should she use this information to help outline the tour? Let's find out. Okay, so this is switching. I click on the next button. Which image, this is a task, this or that. And it says which image makes it easier for her to plan the walking tour. There's an image of a map and just a table of contents. I would prefer the map. I've clicked this one. You got it. Building a traditional graph with all that data will make it hard for Sophie to visualize the key takeaways. By doing a data visualization and showing the information in context, planning the tour becomes a very scary walk in the park. Okay, so they're using visuals, they're using text, they're talking in a conversational tone. There are many very positive ways about how they're putting together this experience. So I've got it. I click to the next, and I continue with my lesson, my application. Data visualization seems pretty snazzy, but what's so helpful about presenting the same information you already have in a different way? Good question. It's helpful because design, imagery, and storytelling make data accessible and easy to understand. Fun fact, our brains are trained to process images 60,000 times faster than they do text. I did not know that. That's really interesting. It says a lot about the way we learn and multimedia learning in our current environment. I'll swipe. Next one. Instead of relying solely on experts and analysts to explain information to you and your team, data visualization gets everyone engaged and allows them to ask questions, raise concerns, and offer their insights. Swipe. This not only empowers your team, but also allows you to common insights. The more your team understands the data, the more confidently they'll be executing their part. Okay, so it's putting it into context for me. If I'm part of a team and everyone has a greater understanding of what's happening, people will have greater self-efficacy and perform their jobs to a higher degree or higher level. So that's the last. I'll swipe. I think that they're probably going to give me an activity next. Nope, they've given me another set of cards. It's stacked. There are 3 cards. So there's not too long to go. They're cutting it up into sections, which makes it easier for me to read in pieces rather than being overwhelming. Plus, I have the progress bar at the top. Data visualization is a great tool to help communicate information internally, but you can also use it to market your business by turning the data into shareable content. I've talked about this with a friend of mine who has a consulting firm, and he's been running it for 8 years and he's never lost a client. And I told him you should make a data visualization or a visualization of this just simple graph form that you can hand out to people, and it should make an impact. Flip or swipe. Span of a customer is 8 seconds. Eyes here, please. So introducing new information can be challenging. Data visualization lets a customer stay engaged for longer by using interesting imagery and unique interactions. I imagine color schemes and emotional aspects would come into play here as well. So, last card in the pile. We've also got little pictures for all these, so they have visualizations to go along with the text. So they are actually practicing what they preach in a sense. By packaging new information in innovative ways and featuring it on blogs and social media, you can encourage more people to engage with your company. They might even share your posts with friends if they find it interesting. Now, it is true, there are a lot of statistics in Twitter and Facebook that people share things that have visuals or videos much more than just text-based. Okay, I like that. I'm going to swipe and see what happens next. Okay, I thought there would be another activity, but there isn't. It's another stack of learning cards with text and little kind of animations or little graphics. Sorry. Okay, let's see how Lucid works. A real-life search solutions company did outreach and created credibility among the developer community using data visualization. Okay. LucidWorks partnered with data visualization agency Column 5 to create an interactive US map that would help software developers find a job. That's interesting. One visualization showed the number and developers per state, while the other showed average salaries by region. Okay, it's very clear, easy to understand. Using these maps, a developer could easily see where there were the potential job opportunities. If somebody wanted to move, I suppose that would be interesting. Their goal was to create a lasting, up-to-date map, so they asked users to contribute to the map. Soon enough, the crowdsourced map was sharing through the developer community. Okay, so that would be constantly changing, kind of like the traffic signs in Tokyo, always telling you what's going on in real time as you drive, so you know where to avoid problems. This would be the opposite. It tells you where good jobs are, and it's constantly changing. Nothing is static. The map success helped LucidWorks build an awareness of the brand as a leader in the software development community, attract talent for their own company, and bring in new customers. Okay, so they did this to help others, and by doing this, they increased their brand. And I could relate that to, say, our own business, where if we could do data visualizations of what was happening in early childhood education, then that would make people consider us to be experts in the field or authorities. Okay, so now that's the last card. I'll swipe. I would expect that there's a activity for me to do because it's been a lot of reading. Nope, more reading cards. Again, text and graphics. The beautiful thing about data visualization is that it's unique to the story you want to tell. That's what also makes it challenging. So how do you actually create one? Well, that's a good question. It's good to have, but it's not easy. Flip. First, figure out what you want to communicate. If you are gathering data to find out why business rocks so much, you should rethink it. Data visualization isn't about generalities. It's about highlighting relationships to find trends. That makes sense. The best way to use data information like a detective examining clues. Where did the data come from? Were the variables used correctly? What were the results? What bigger trends might be affecting the results? Okay, so it's not simply creating it to state something you want to state. The more analysis you do, the more authoritative it is. I'll flip again, 2 more cards. Knowing your audience. Just because your coworkers are jazzed about aluminum in the Asian market doesn't mean your customers are. Tailor your data visualizations to match the interests of your target audience. One would assume that's common sense, but I guess common sense isn't always applied. Nothing's been confusing for me to this point. It's all very clear. Think about the conversations you're looking to spark and how they can affect your brand's positioning. Okay, so use data that's relevant, that's going to get people talking about what you do. I'm going to flip and hopefully get to an activity. Okay, it's given me a new type. The truth is not in the data. If it's not there, don't adjust it to fit your narrative. Yeah, sounds like Mike Baird and the lockout laws. Adjusting data to suit a purpose. Flipped, and okay, it's given me another stack of cards. Luckily, they're all short and easy to read and relevant. Otherwise, yeah, I'd be growing a little bit bored. I kind of wonder why they haven't used another kind of activity to get me more engaged. There's been a lot of reading. Here we go again. Make sure the design and language match and are relatable to your audience and that both are true to the data. Okay, that's fair enough. Swipe, 2 more cards. Good visualizations allow viewers to click on deeper investigation and formulate their own questions. Okay, that makes sense. Make it interactive. And if you budget to hire an agency to create your own data visualizations, you can use a tool like PictoChart, which has online infographic templates. Okay, that's something I'd actually look into, so I'm going to pin that one and save it for later so I can remember PictoChart. I flip. Now I've got my final activity. Okay, check my recording, it's still going. Do this now. Now that you've seen what goes into creating good data visualizations, let's find out if you're ready to make a visualization of your own. Okay, so far I've learned that audience matters, staying true to what the data says matters, how you can market yourself through making visualizations. Let's see if I'm ready to be tested. So I click. Would you like to engage with more people through your data? Yes or no? Yes, I would. Yes or no? Is there a trend or insight you think is appropriate for visualization? I think the trend towards mothers staying at home, keeping their children at home until they attend kindergarten, and the trend of increasing costs of childcare are both interesting for people in our field of early childhood education. Yes. Do you have enough data to create an interesting visualization? Probably not enough. I have a lot, but I would want to tailor it to whatever it is that I want to examine. So I'll say no. Is there a specific conversation about your business that you want to start? Yes. What can use, what are your options as parents to work with your children at home to increase learning? Okay, and do you have the online channels to feature and promote the visualization? Yes, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We have it all set up, as well as an email drip campaign. Yes. Do you think your audience might share the final visualization? Yeah, I think they would if it's relevant to them. Yes. Results. You might benefit by waiting a bit longer before building a data visualization. Start by making sure you have enough compelling data to tell a great story, as well as the appropriate channels. Okay, so I noted that I didn't have enough data. I probably do, but I'm just being safe. So I got it. Thank you for the advice. Google Primer. Big check mark. Lesson complete. If I think somebody that might be interested in this, I can share the lesson, or I can return back and take another lesson. If I look at this overall, I like the format of it. Small cards with both text and visual are very helpful to understand new concepts. They create a bit of a narrative. They give you case studies. It's easy to flip forward and back and save. I can pan out to see all of the cards at once. It's relevant. They make it relevant to you. They put it into your own context. They've taken a lot of instructional design. They put a lot of instructional design thought into this. And I think they've created a great product that helps you learn the principles of marketing. And yeah, so I really like it. I think I've learned something. It wasn't confusing. I didn't have to reread things. So plus it's been a mobile experience. And it hasn't taken too much time, and I was aware of how much time it was going to take, that I would use this again to learn more as I move forward with my own business. And I will stop my recording.